Something absolutely ridiculous has just appeared on my feed, and I'm almost shocked. Kemi Badenoch has been receiving a little bit of backlash online, and namely some people saying that she should be deported along with quote unquote the rest of them. Muslims cry Islamophobia over the following speech by the UK's Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch, admitting it is a mistake to allow Islamists to flood the UK because Islam is incompatible with Western values. She vows to deport them. Now,
Who
I'm not sure what she's about to say here, but this is an absolutely crazy thing to come out of the Conservatives specifically. If we circle the person who's saying these words, that is incredibly, incredibly crazy to me. Now, she's had a history of saying some less than savory things, but as of recent, because she has been probably following in a man called Nigel Farage's footsteps, she is becoming quote unquote based. Let's have a look what she has to say.
comes here, why they come, and how they contribute. That is how we protect the inheritance that generations before us fought for and died for. It must never become a multicultural country where shared values dissolve, loyalty fragments, and we foment the homegrown terrorism that we saw on the streets of Manchester this week.
What's crazy is she's the first politician I've ever seen from the Conservative Party that actually looks like she believes what she's saying. That to me is crazy. Whether she's doing this as a ploy to get more of the right wing vote and maybe try and split up that dominance that is reform, which has surged in the polls to I think 34%, which is absolutely ridiculous numbers. She actually looks like she believes this, and the English flag in the background is a lovely touch. I don't think you would see that from Herr Starmer and his stormtroopers.
We cannot import and tolerate values hostile to our own. We must now draw a line and say that in Britain, you can think what you like, and within the bounds of the law, you can say what you like, but you have no right to turn our streets into the theatres of intimidation, and we will not let you do so anymore.
Wow. I'm a little bit lost for words that this is coming out of Kemi Badenoch's mouth. I think a lot of people are going to look at her differently now after this speech. Just this short little 40 seconds or so that I've watched already. It seems to be the Conservatives are returning to their conservatism, and under a black woman, no less. And it's quite nice to see, I will say, because all these spineless white jockeys that have been in the Conservative Party for the last couple of years have been fucking idiots.
We need a strong common culture rooted in our history, our language, our
Indeed.
institutions, and our belief in liberty under the law. That is what holds us together, and that is why borders matter, why numbers matter, but most of all, why culture matters. Why are protesters allowed to block roads and disrupt lives time and time again?
Very
Why
simple
are our
question.
veterans relentlessly chased through the courts by activist lawyers?
Yep.
Why couldn't we deport those foreign nationals who raped girls in communities across the UK?
Yep.
Why do we still allow them to remain in the very same towns where their victims live? Why?
Exactly. And I'll just say this as someone who experienced this with someone when I was younger. Not myself personally, but a friend of mine. The perpetrator, being a white man, was moved a large distance away upon his release years later. Why are these men allowed to go back into the communities? That just kind of doesn't make any sense to me. It never made any sense to me. And they operate in gangs, so you may arrest one, but the perpetrators that are still in the town are now going to target this little girl because their friend or a family member has been targeted and now arrested, sent to prison. It's backwards.
Why can't we control our borders and remove those who need to go? Placing blanket restrictions on foreign nationals in terms of social housing and benefits, the only way such positions are feasible would be to leave the ECHR.
Now, this is the thing that I'm concerned about. The ECHR, everybody wants to leave. There has been a lot of protections in the ECHR for workers' rights. gay rights and just people's rights in general, from workers to pretty much anyone, children, women and children. If we leave the ECHR, knowing the government is already trying to pass the digital ID, the brick card, so to speak, leaving the ECHR worries me. Unless we can keep all of the fundamental laws in place that protect people already, that belong here in the ECHR, I wouldn't be interested in leaving. We should only leave if there is already a formulated structure of laws that are going to replace it immediately on removal. Maybe that it only applies to the native British population. But then again, it's all a bit messy. I'm not a politician. I'm just a guy that talks on the internet. So, let me know what you think down in the comments.
And so to me and the shadow cabinet, the resulting policy decision is also clear. We must leave the ECHR and repeal the Human Rights Act. This is the only way to end spurious legal claims from immigrants with dubious stories and excuses.
I mean, she's pretty bang on with what she says. Let's have a look at what some of the people had to say. Wow, she's making a lot of sense. Wake up, Britain. Islam is incompatible with Western values. It's all the same guy. I'm with her. Well, if you're asking if we are against polygamy, old men marrying little girls, women having no rights, hating America, beheading anyone that disagrees, then yes, you're freaking Islamophobic. A word created by fascists and used by cowards to manipulate morons. Yep. And I'm kind of with it. And the crazy thing is, obviously Twitter doesn't, or X, doesn't speak for the majority of people, but there has been a huge shift that I have seen online, going from being afraid to say things to now suddenly people are speaking a little bit more openly. And only because the group that are causing so many issues have been speaking openly for so long. And now people finally decided to speak back, and they're being arrested, they're being beaten, they're being attacked, they're having their jobs taken, and people have had enough of it. And there's so much evidence of it online. So we're starting to see a shift. It is my view the pendulum is swinging. Hats off to Kemi Badenoch, because she spoke like someone who cared about the people and someone who looked like she believed in what she was saying. Whether it's more of a farce from the Conservatives, I don't think that this is going to shift the way people are going to vote towards the Conservatives in any way, shape, or form, or not large enough numbers for it to matter. But it's interesting to see the political spectrum in the UK shifting this way, especially since Japan have just elected a super right-wing woman, and I think Czech or somewhere else, or Sweden or something of such. Gert Wilders is trending in the polls, and he's very popular as well. So it seems like the rise of the right, as it's being labeled, is happening globally. People have had enough of this tiny minority, the 1% or the 5% or whatever of these liberals, dictating everybody's fucking lives and pandering to their nonsense. And personally, I'm all here for it. But if you like this video and you like this breakdown and you want to see more, please give a like and subscribe to the channel, as it is a new channel and I would really appreciate your support. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.